What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, as usual. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, y'all know I'm a college fan. I got to make sure that y'all are following the same wavelength that I am, right? We're going to talk about men's college hoops for right now. Women's is going to be another day. But for right now, I wanted to talk about my current March Madness tracker. Not the whole thing, because that's a lot of teams, right? I'm going to talk about the top 10 because these 10 point in time could legitimately win it all in the end of day. So again, I'm not gonna give y'all too much. Just the team, their current record, right? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the current overall record, their conference, what rank they are, and then what ranked opponents they've gone up against and how they've done overall. Because stuff like that does matter. Granted, ranked opponents aren't the end all be all, but again, they do matter in terms of projecting who you think will win. So with that, we're going to start off with the top 10 list, going from 10 to number 1. So, with less being said, number 10, the Texas Tech. Number 10, Texas Tech. They have a 21-6 record, and they're out of the Big Ten. Now, they've gone up against 4 ranked opponents, and of those 4, they've won 1 game. Now, here's the thing that kind of helps them out. They do have 1 ranked game left, so maybe they can increase this. But one of their losses was to Arizona, who is no longer a ranked opponent. Now, they have 6 losses overall, 3 losses against ranked opponents. So for me, I'm thinking now you have 2 losses against ranked opponents. That means 4 losses overall to unranked opponents. I'm not feeling Texas Tech as much as the other teams. But again, they are number 10. They got a ranked game left. Maybe we can see something shake. But for me personally, I don't view Texas Tech that highly. Iowa State is number 9. They also boast 21-6 record, and they're also out of the Big 12. Now, they have 6 ranked opponents, and they boasted a 3-3 record. Now, if y'all have been paying attention, I kind of knock play on teams based on the teams that they've gone up against if they've fallen out of the top 25 ranking. Iowa, a team that they lost to was Kansas, and that happened to Kansas. Kansas did fall out of the top 25. Iowa State also beat Kansas and Baylor, and both of those teams fell out of the top 25. So the teams that made you relevant in terms of the rankings, like they fell out of the top 25. You do have 2 ranked games left, but right now you've only beaten 1 ranked team and you've lost twice. And keep in mind, you have 6 losses overall. I would like to see Iowa State improve, and there's a little bit of pressure on these last 2 ranked games personally. Overall, you probably should win out, but definitely some pressure. So Iowa State got a couple question marks about you. Michigan State is number 8, ladies and gentlemen. They have a 22-5 record, and they're out of the Big Ten. Now, they have 5 ranked opponents, and they boasted a 4-1 record. Here's the thing. Some of their losses or wins, they fall now the top 25. Kansas, they lost to. Again, they fall now the top 25, like we've mentioned before. UNC and Illinois, those are 2 teams that Michigan State beat. They fell out of the top 25. Here's the good thing. They do have 3 ranked games left. Maybe they can make something shake. I love a Tom Izzo coach team. They can get to the Final Four based on history. And before we factored in the rankings of people falling out, they did have 4-1. So let's say they went out, right, and get these 3 ranked games. We can have a 5-0 record in terms of ranked games. Now, obviously, we got to factor in the Kansas loss. So 5-1 or 5-1 ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. So again, I do like a Michigan State team. They have a chance of surprising people. Look out for Michigan State. They're looking all right. Now we got to move on to number 7, and that's St. John's. Now they boast a 24-4 record, and they're out of the Big East. They have 4 ranked opponents, and they went 2-2 against those ranked opponents. Here's the thing, though. When we do my math at least, both the teams they lost to are not ranked anymore in Baylor and Villanova. And UConn is a team that they beat and is no longer ranked. So you lost 2 ranked opponents. You have 4 losses overall. I can kind of stomach that. You have 1 ranked game left. So I would like to see St. John actually win this matchup personally. Because now, if you go and lose, that's 2 losses still, believe it or not. And for the UConn one, I knocked that one negatively. I still knock it for Baylor and Villanova as well. It's just more so. So St. John, there's a little pressure on you, because if not, I'm not going to bank on y'all in March Madness. Now let's move on down to number 6 in Alabama. They are 22-5 for an overall record, and they're out of the SEC. SEC has been hooping, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama's gone up against 12 ranked opponents, and they boasted an 8-4 record during that span. Now, the teams that they lost to, all of those teams remained in the top 25. So kudos to Alabama for actually losing the solid competition. And they lost to 4 ranked opponents, having 5 overall losses. That's pretty smooth. Now, the teams that they beat, there were 3 of them that did fall out of the top 25: Illinois, UNC, and Oklahoma. Illinois and UNC, we've heard a couple times. So I do like this Alabama squad, and they have 4 ranked games left to finish out their season. This Alabama squad is about to be battle tested. That can go one of 2 ways for me. We'll talk about it another time, another day. But Alabama is a team that you do want to pay attention to for March Madness coming up. The number 5 team we got is Tennessee. Now, they boast a 22-5 record, and they're also out of the SEC. Like I said, SEC has been hooping. They've been going up against 11 ranked opponents, and they have 7-4 record in that 11-game span. Now, the teams that they lost to, all of them remained in the top 25 as well. And then 3 of the teams that they beat fell out of the top 25: Baylor, Arkansas, and Georgia. So, and they also have 1 ranked game left. For me, this Tennessee team has been battle tested as well. Again, the SEC is no slouch, and they came out looking all right. So for me, I also like Tennessee. I don't know if I like them as much as Alabama, if Alabama comes out of that 4-game stretch where they play against ranked teams to close out the season. If Alabama closes out, we could be looking at a really solid squad that I might have over at Tennessee. But if not, then I got to do some thinking, because, again, Alabama would have battled against more teams, ranked teams, than Tennessee. Now, let's go on to the number 4 squad in Houston. They have a 23-4 record out of the Big 12, gone up against 6 ranked opponents, and had a 3-3 record in that span. None of the teams they lost to have fallen out of the top 25, and only Kansas is the team that fell out of the top 25. So we're 2-3 right now. We got 1 ranked game left. I can't hold y'all. Houston has looked pretty battle tested. I got to see if their stock is willing, if I'm willing to buy their stock or not. Because I bought it a couple times in the past recently. They haven't won anything, but they seem all right still. So they might make a nice little push in March Madness. So I might be putting a couple dollars down on Houston. We'll see. Now let's go to number 3 in Florida. Now they boasted a 24-3 record. They're also out of the SEC. I told y'all these SEC boys have been hooping this year. They have played against 5 ranked opponents, and they have a 3-2 record over that span. Now they lost to teams that have not fallen out of the top 25. And the teams that they beat have also not fallen out of the top 25. And let's factor in also that 2 of the teams that they beat were ranked number 1 at the time that they beat them. Florida is kind of tough. And maybe I'm a little biased because that's where I was born, the state. Florida, all right, dog. Like, I ain't going to lie to you. I have to look at Florida with some tough consideration. Again, they beat Tennessee and Auburn, and they ain't no slouches. And yeah, you lost to Kentucky and Tennessee, but again, they ain't no slouches. So Florida, y'all might want to keep your eyes on them if possible. SEC ain't no slouch right now. Now let's move on down to number 2. They say first is the worst, second is the best. And I'm saying this biasly because that's where my boys are, the Duke Blue Devils. We are ranked number 2 right now. We have a 24-3 record overall, and we're in the ACC. We have gone up against 4 ranked opponents, boasting a 2-2 record over that span. Although if you want to include Clemson, because we did lose to Clemson, and they did become ranked because of that. So if you want to include them, then we're 2-3. Now, one of the teams that we lost to was Kansas. And like I said, they have fallen out of the top 25. So that makes our losses a little bit worse looking, right? But again, we've only lost to 2 ranked opponents and have 3 losses. And keep in mind, one of those were to Kansas. I can stomach that. Now, we don't have any ranked games left. So that means we do have to win out, unfortunately, and in good fashion. And keep in mind, one of those games are the UNC rivalry game. That's a big one. So if we win out, we looking all right. And I do like what we've done thus far. But job's not finished. So let's see what happens. But in terms of stock, Duke is a team to look into. I ain't going to lie to y'all. Now, the number one team, that is Auburn. They boast a 25-2 record. And they're also out of the SEC. Like I said, the SEC has been hooping, ladies and gentlemen. 4 out of the top 6 teams are from the SEC. That is ridiculous. Auburn has gone up against 11 ranked opponents, and they have boasted a 9-2 record. In fact, they only lost to Duke and Florida, who point in time are number 2 and 3 in the rankings. Like that. That's their only losses. They beat out a couple of teams, and only 3 teams of those have fallen out of the top 25. So that means we've gone 6-2 against ranked opponents point in time. That's scary. And they got 3 ranked games left. So let's say they win out. Hey, Auburn at number 1. This seems legit. This seems certified right here. So again, ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of teams here that you have to keep your eye on. And this March Madness tournament could be a little interesting because I can't lie to you. Right now, point in time, the tracker is looking a little crazy. Like I see a couple of teams. As a Duke Blue Devil fan, I'm genuinely nervous going up against a couple of these teams. And keep in mind, we've beaten some of these teams. We've beaten some of the best squads. So again, we've actually beaten the best team, Auburn. And I'm saying I'm scared to go up against some of these squads. This March Madness could be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm definitely making sure I'm tuning in. And I want to make sure y'all tune in as well. But we're going to keep the tracker pushing because next time, if they stay the same, we ain't going to talk too much. I might give a little more detail about some of these players individually or maybe the team specifically. But that's it, though. Because, again, if the tracker ain't going to move, I ain't going to hem and haw too much. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, the rankings, I read them off based on what they are on ESPN. But I do think based on what I've observed and researched, these teams could definitely win it all. But if y'all got if y'all got a different team that's going to win it all, I would love to hear y'all comments as well. So please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.